This one is titled Message to Mr. Vegas. Now I'm a little bit late, but I had to touch on it, been wanting to. You know, this is about the Haile Selassie and Marcus Garvey thing. I hear a lot of the things that you're saying, you know, but the irony is you say it's about unity, and I feel like you're going about your form of unification the wrong way, you know. So we live in a day when everybody have access to information and research, right? But really and truly, can we come to a point where we have every possible angle, you know? Because the thing about research is you never know if your information is giving you 100%. So that's why you have to be careful about acting as if you have some type of fullness. So let's deal with Haile Selassie. We know that Haile Selassie is a man, flesh and blood, right? Personally, I look at God and the Creator as something different. I feel like God is a title bestowed upon someone to do a high or mighty work. You know, I'm not proficient in holy books, but I think the Bible asks the question, are ye not gods? So it seems like when you come to a certain revelation, you automatically become God. You come to this revelation and you put it into action and you become God. You know, and most likely, like everything else, you have different levels to everything and to everyone and to every title. So I will deal with it symbolically. Whether or not Haile Selassie is God, whether or not he is Christ, symbolically, the 20th century, 21st century, there was a shift in consciousness because of Haile Selassie. I know it is played down, but from my personal observation, I recognize that a lot of people became more independent in the way that they view the Creator and creation. There was a freedom bestowed upon us because of the presence of Haile Selassie, or Rastafari. You know, people became liberated. So really and truly, no matter how or what you say about Selassie, the burning out and burning fire and this and that, no matter what you say, you can't take away that from Haile Selassie. You know what I'm saying? You can't take that away. There are a lot of people who garnered a lot of inspiration from this man. No flesh and blood, obviously imperfect, so you can say whatever you want to say. But just knowing how systems run, organizations, you know what I'm saying, sociological, you know what I'm saying, perspective, sociology. There's a lot of hate out there, a lot of misinformation. Now, I know that Haile Selassie dealt with unity. This is why he traveled so much. First emperor to travel outside, brought so many people together, and also tried to help other countries with whatever turmoil they were going through. Now you say Haile Selassie drop bombs in the Congo. I don't know about that. I don't know if that is actually true. I know there's a lot of propaganda out there. Why? Because Haile Selassie is significant. Any man of power who is not a European, people gonna speak poorly of, especially someone on the level of Haile Selassie. So when you say you do your research and you find all these things, where do you really get it from? What are the real references? You know, did you get it from trusted sources? You know, that is something you have to be careful of, because you know the weight that Haile Selassie carried, and you know that people out there hate him, his authority, his titles, his influence, and they may misrepresent or write whatever they want to write, but you can't take away the symbolism, the significance of him coming in this particular time, right on the brink of the technological age, that link between ancient and modern. You know, I know every man that they live in a modern time, but in this particular time we could see that transition, right? And Haile Selassie, an ancient king, coming from an ancient, way of living, emperor, king, you know what I'm saying? To be in this particular time, that is what you call a mystic. So Marcus Garvey say, look to the east, and you turn around and say, there are a lot of kings in Africa. You telling me the king that is more significant than Haile Selassie? You know what I'm saying? So it's a mistake. One thing you did say, Haile Selassie is the biggest Christian. But is it the same Christianity as what the Europeans portray? Or is it something more ancient than theirs, that they actually got theirs from? That is what you have to look into. You say there was no King Solomon, you say there was no David. Maybe they were called something different, because we know that these holy books have been tampered with. You know? So really and truly, a lot of the things that you may research, they may not be 100% accurate. A lot of the news that you read and the things that you can pull up, the newspaper clippings and, from your internet source, they may not actually be true. Because when do they ever speak highly of a black man or something that is not European, that is of significance? So you have to be careful whose message you're perpetrating, or you're portraying, or you're putting out there. Do you have the means and the resources to go and get the actual facts? I don't think any of us do, because when you look at systems of government and leadership and authority, there's so many things happening in the background that we will never know. But symbolically, we know that Haile Selassie was a great influence. We know he spoke of African unity, major thing, until the philosophy which hold one race superior than another. So Haile Selassie is not even just dealing with black people. Haile Selassie is dealing with all races, all inclusive. Now a lot of people don't like to hear that. Some people may subscribe to Marcus Garvey, right? They say Marcus Garvey was a millionaire and had so much. One thing Marcus Garvey should have done was to buy land and start maybe his own communities and small communities. I think that Marcus Garvey envied Haile Selassie's stature. That's what I think. I respect these men for the work that they have put forward, but they're actually men. Marcus Garvey could have produced many millionaires, or maybe not. He was a millionaire. But let's just deal with inspiration. Marcus Garvey inspired a lot of people. Haile Selassie inspired a lot of people. Now, Rastafarianism produced this music called reggae music. The irony is, you have made a career out of this. Right? You've made a career. So indirectly, through inspiration, many people have gotten a good feeling and a good vibes. Not just the militant aspect, not just the, let us free ourselves, but to enjoy ourselves also. Be free with our expressions. Through Rastafarianism, that inspiration has traveled the world many times over, made many artists, millionaires even, put them on a certain level where now they have to be respected. So that inspiration you can never take away, because even you are a part of it. Now, I need to talk about the disunity. Where there's disunity, there's dysfunction, right? And you're saying that you burn out Haile Selassie, but you still say you're a Rastafari. That seems kind of oxymoronish, if there's such a word. Because Haile Selassie is Rastafari. So, if you burn out Haile Selassie, in fact, you burn out yourself. So that is a mystic in itself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you have to be careful of the way you exact judgment on people and others. You know what I'm saying? For matters that you can't even understand because you don't have the full truth and the full story. You're not in these rooms where certain things go down. And you don't know why certain news is released and certain other news is not released. You see, everybody play a part. And Haile Selassie in the 20th century played a major part, because you hear black people talking about a lot of things. A lot of mystic vibes that they feel like they're part of, and I feel like a lot of that stem from the early 1900s. In the time of Haile Selassie, and many others too. But Haile Selassie, but a lot of the people that did whatever they did were not necessarily emperor or king. But today, you can hear the conscious community calling another brethren king, or queen, or my lord, or empress. So the way I look at it is a positivity comes from these inspirations. There's no need for you to try to break that down, because maybe that's the way it was supposed to happen. Maybe that's the way God or the Creator wanted it to happen, but you can't see it. We're just mere flesh. But what maybe you can address is some good things that Haile Selassie did. Did Haile Selassie do anything good? Directly or indirectly? You see, you're criticizing from a point of negativity, and you haven't really said anything positive, and that is what I feel a lot of people have a problem with. So you go back and research again and see if there's anything positive or righteous that Haile Selassie did. The lion and the lamb shall lay down together. You say Haile Selassie is violent. But if a lion and a lamb lay down together, I know that that is peace. Maybe it's unfortunate, or maybe fortunate, that people correlate the Bible and the presence or the existence of Haile Selassie. I'm not sure what that is about. I can't explain it, but I do know that Haile Selassie is a great inspiration to many. You know what I'm saying? And has helped many people. You see, the thing about religions, right, like Rastafari say, is not religion, it's liberty they deal with. But in fact, I don't think there's anything wrong with religion, except that they feel they don't subscribe to the same creator or the same God for communication purposes. But really and truly, if you look throughout a lot of these books, there's some good that you can take from all these books or all these vibes. There is some good. If everybody lived like these, lived the way of these holy so-called scriptures, I think we would be in a much better place. Rastafari talk about peace, love, and eating the right way. What's the one thing outside of enemies, the Europeans, and even ourselves, killing ourselves? What is the one thing that Rastafari talk about that is actually the death of us? Lifestyle diseases, high blood pressure, eating a lot of acidic foods, so on and so forth. So that, even that, is a positive vibe that you can say is direct or indirect, but it comes from the inspiration of certain man revering Haile Selassie, Rastafari, and it is staying true today, because in the climate that we're in, when people are talking about viruses, so on and so forth, nobody's talking about nutrition. Nobody's talking about eating a particular way. Nobody's talking about building up your immune system. So we have been forewarned dealing with Rastafari, dealing with what they call roots and culture and ancient ways of living. Now we live in these times. Of course, man is not going to live like them live thousands of years ago. Some man can do it to a degree, but still we're so surrounded by so many things in this modern time. Yeah, they may partake in certain vibes of today, but it's how you gauge yourself, So to make certain accusations, not knowing the truth of it or why this information is out there, shows a level of negligence, because you probably read these things, off the internet. I know you said you read Subnauta Marcus Garvey book. Marcus Garvey had beef with Haile Selassie. You know why? Because he was not in Haile Selassie's position. No man can fill another man's shoes. You know what I'm saying? If they had a sit down together, I'm sure they would respect each other in a different way. Sometimes a man may choose to say something or not to choose something in a particular moment in time. And another man may disagree with him. But as time go on, you realize that man made the right decision. Because certain examples have to be shown. Sometimes you can't be overly aggressive. Sometimes you just can't do it the straightforward way. It's like golf. You never hit directly at the hole. You hit at an angle, right? Or it's like chess. It's not just one straight shot to the king. You have to make many moves and different levels of protection around. And you have to sacrifice some of your pieces, to advance. So, over the past few years, you've been more outspoken, and I see that. I know that you have a good heart. Most men that dealing with certain types of vibes, they want to see better for their people. So I'm not going to fight you in that way. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to fight you like that. But I also understand that as deep as you've looked, I think you can look deeper. You know? And if a Rasta man or a Rasta woman make a mistake, we're human. We make mistakes. You know? But you can't just generalize like that. You can't take Haile Selassie out of history. Matter of fact, you can't take anyone out of history. But for what I understand about Rastafari, meaning the people, I have to show them love and respect. It is revolutionary, you know, it is advanced. It may look simple, but it's advanced living. If everybody had even 75% understanding of Rastafari, there would be no wars in this earth. There would be no killing. That leads me to, well, first, let me go back to what you were saying about somebody starting up a new movement. Why don't you start up a movement instead of telling or wanting someone else to start up a movement? You deal with the vibes. And if it's just solid vibes and the foundation is strong, people will deal with it with you and help you. You know, there are people out there who want to be a part of something and want to support. I know that's how I am. Sometimes you waste your time, yes. And when you see that things are not advancing, you know, you move on and do something else. But as long as it's for the people or for something more than just yourself. So you can do that, my brethren. You know, do that vibes. Now, what I think you should be driving home more than anything else is the barbarianism that is in Jamaica. I'm not from Jamaica. I am from an island in the Caribbean. But I subscribe to certain YouTube channel out of Jamaica and I see all the murders and the killing. And this has been going on for the longest time. So I think that should be the focus. Haile Selassie don't leave his legacy and his mark. And there have a lot of good people out there who trust in Rastafari, believe in it. There are people who deal with Rastafari that don't even think he's God or the creator. And I don't think that's the ultimate thing about Rastafari. I think it's just love and peace. You know, living right, meaning eating right, dealing with people right, being independent, you know, being progressive, being the caretakers of the earth, being the caretakers of the universe, you know. So, there's a lot of murders and killing in the irony. Jamaica. That is the focus. That is the focus. In times like these, when freedoms are being taken away across the whole planet, the focus should be how do we fight these systems that continuously enslave us? How do we deal with the uneducated ones who look like us, who are from the same lineages as us, that are out there farming the most food? How do we address these people? How do we help them to be a part of good history, a good cause, a loving vibes? I think that should be the focus. Especially because I saw you in an incident when you were in a courtyard for an establishment and a man shoot a man. I'm not sure how many years ago that was. So you know what I'm talking about, first-hand vibes. So you worried about Haile Selassie and trying to get at Rastaman is not a good look. You know, maybe you should go and have a sit down with Rastaman. But you have to be careful, like I said, with the information. Because the information that might not be accurate. You know what I'm saying? Because many people have written about Haile Selassie in a negative light. And you know why? You claim that he's not a black man, but who is to say who's a black man and who is not? You say he's an Arab. You know? Well, you still have 9 ether. If you ever check Haile Selassie thing and them pictures and stuff and videos, you know, that woolly hair is of a certain people. So, I just wanted to check for that. But anyway, maybe I can dedicate an album to uplifting black people in this modern time. You know, regardless if you have hits on it or not. And speak to the Caribbean and speak to Jamaica about all the murders and the killing and all the gunmen and all the disrespect and all the rape. You know, and then I'm not gonna single out Jamaica, but whichever Caribbean island you're from, if you go through and migrate and integrate in different islands, don't bring your dirty ways. Start over fresh, show respect, come clean, and let life reward you. You know. So that is it for now. I don't know if you will ever see this video, but if you do see it and want to respond, we can reason. No problem. Blessed love.